And fans are in absolute disbelief. These are some of the reactions on social media. Peppa Pig out for the season with an ACL injury. So with only 4 games left in the Premier League season, it's still all to play for at the top of the table, but also at the bottom of the table. We talk about Arsenal and City enough. Let's talk the relegation battle. Wolves and Burnley have officially been relegated from the Premier League, but that 18th spot is yet to be decided. It's currently occupied by Tottenham, but West Ham and Nottingham Forest or Leeds could still fall into it. So let's see what this upcoming match day looks like for these teams in that battle. Leeds welcoming Burnley today, West Ham travelling to Brentford tomorrow, Tottenham playing Aston Villa on Sunday, and Forest travelling to Stamford Bridge to play Chelsea on Monday. So we've got games Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday. Why don't we go through the schedules and figure out who could wind up going down? So based on the remaining matches, we're going to kind of calculate how many points we think these teams are going to be picking up with. You're going to be starting off with Leeds.
Yes.
They're on 40 points at the moment in that 15th place spot.
All right, let's take through it. We're going to start with their match today against Burnley. Obviously, Scott Parker gone now with Burnley. They're already relegated, so that is a win for Leeds today. I think they find a way to get all 3 points playing at home against the Burnley side, again, that's already been relegated, so that is a win for them. The next one at Spurs, I've been going back and forth a bit with this one, guys, because I want to give Leeds the win here, but I have to imagine that Spurs come out with some kind of, I don't know why I'm thinking they come out with some kind of motivation here because they haven't done that at home all season long, but I'm going to say draw for Leeds and Spurs at Spurs, and that will give Spurs maybe some life going forward. Now, this is, for me, the toughest match that Leeds have here against Brighton. Brighton trying to hold on to that final Europa League spot. Bournemouth is chasing them just a point behind as they're trying to get into the Europa League. I'm going to say Brighton win this game. So loss for Leeds against Brighton. I know it is at home at Ellen Road. I still think that is a loss against Brighton for Leeds. And it comes down to the final match day at West Ham. West Ham fighting for survival. I'm going to say that is a draw for Leeds in that last game against West Ham. Leeds obviously at that point might still need to ensure that they can move forward depending on what happens after that loss to Brighton. So I'm going with a draw at West Ham.
I'd push back on that last one because honestly, Leeds on 40 points, they might already be safe.
Yeah.
But particularly looking at if they win today, of course they're all professionals. They're going to try. It will be a different level of desire if West Ham are going into that final day needing a result to keep Spurs behind them. I would be leaning West Ham there.
Okay. You guys want to? Do we have to debate here and try to come up with one solution for that last game? Do we agree with the other games?
Yeah, no, I'm really keen on this match against Burnley for this Leeds side. Ellen Road looks to be the real deal, and Leeds, although it did not work out for them in the FA Cup, Leeds fans can dream, right? Premier League survival is everything, and this is going to seal it. I really do think, should they get 3 points against Burnley, a Burnley side that are set for the championship, and Michael Jackson, less said about that the better, says everything. So
45 points is how many points they'll finish on according to Stefano. You think that's safe?
yeah.
Do we want to leave that last game against West Ham as a draw, or do we want to give that win to West Ham, being that West Ham might need that and Leeds might have it wrapped up?
I've made my vote, Lude.
What was your
West Ham?
West Ham? Yeah.
West Ham. All right, so we're going to switch that. It's two against one. Do you have a
44? So you swap it.
Really good math. Really good quick math. Hannah did the addition, carry the one.
I can't do that. I'm glad you're here for that.
44 points.
44
you
points.
think Leeds are going to finish on?
Yes.
All right, why don't we go to the team that are currently below them by 1 point, Nottingham Forest, Tom?
Yes, Nottingham Forest on 39 points. And again, honestly, I think because they have the goal difference edge, one more point, I think they're effectively safe. That doesn't guarantee anything, but Spurs would have to have 7 points out of the last 12. They've shown no signs of doing that. Of course, Nottingham are not going into these last 4 games just looking for 1 point. So let's start with Chelsea. This is between leg 1 and leg 2 against Aston Villa. I'm going to calculate this one as a loss. Chelsea at Stamford Bridge win this game. Again, Nottingham will be looking at the midweek, trying to get to a European final. Home to Newcastle. Newcastle have been stumbling. Home for Nottingham Forest. Yes, it'll be after a midweek game, but I'm giving Nottingham Forest 3 points here and effectively Premier League survival confirmed with that one. Their penultimate match against Manchester United, May 17th. United are in great form. I think at this point Nottingham will already effectively be safe and maybe playing in a European final or licking their wounds while losing to Aston Villa. Manchester United, too good at the moment. Old Trafford, too big of a stage. And then versus Bournemouth on the final day of the season. Areola's last game for Bournemouth. I got to give them 3 points there.
Wow, you're giving them the 3 points.
Bournemouth, sorry, Bournemouth.
Bournemouth
3
gets
points.
the 3 points, so loss for
I made that confusing. That's on me. Hand up. That's on me.
I see. So you're giving Bournemouth 3 points.
Yes.
I'm a bit surprised at the Chelsea loss, just considering I know they did just win in the FA Cup, but in the Premier League they've had 5 losses in a row.
New manager, and again, I think we'll see some rotation from Nottingham this weekend. So,
Look, I think they're going to beat Chelsea.
ooh,
They have a conviction about them right now. And I know people talk about fatigue and going from a Thursday to Stamford Bridge in the Premier League, but I don't know if you saw a different performance from Nottingham Forest, but they didn't seem like they lacked any energy. And for some of the players that have been part of the supporting class, we need to give and big up the likes of Morato. I thought he was very solid in the back. Should he have to play again, that's going to be one to watch, especially for Forest. And also, Nico Dominguez was outstanding right now. So there's this sense of belief and conviction that I'd have to push back and say that they'll go to Stamford Bridge and they'll get the win.
I'll at least concede a draw. But Steph, if you feel strongly about the 3 points.
I'll concede. I think draw. I think draw is a good one there because I think Chelsea. I think Forest is going to play enough to be able to make it difficult for Chelsea. The way that they're playing right now, the belief that they have, it really does depend on the rotation. Let's go with a draw. I think for that first one against Chelsea.
That will leave them on 43 points.
Okay.
You think they're safe for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Should be.
Yes. Spurs sitting on 34 right now. They have a significant goal difference edge over Spurs. So Spurs in that scenario would not be able to lose another game this season.
Okay, why don't we move on to you, Lahoud? You're going to be picking the West Ham matches. They're currently 36 points in 16th place. We did pick already that they would beat Leeds United. So what have you got for those 3 games?
Yeah, starting with this Brentford match, and this is going to be tricky because they actually play Brentford first, and then Tottenham have to go and play after. I know Brentford has had a wonderful season, but it seems like they're running out of fuel, they're running out of legs, and they're really running out of ideas right in the final third. So I think that West Ham, who have never beaten Brentford in the Premier League era, are going to go and get a win at the GTEC Stadium. I know it sounds insane, but I do believe in what Nuno's doing. He's gotten 22 points out of the last 13 matches in the Premier League. They have momentum. How they won that Everton match was the stuff of dreams. Next up is Arsenal.
Win.
I'm not going to give hot takes. We don't do that here at the Golazo Network, so I'm going to stay true to football heritage. They are going to take points off of Arsenal.
Oh, boy.
In my opinion, the fact that they have to go to London, the fact that they've done it before, derailing Arsenal's season, and the fact that Arsenal will be coming off the Champions League second leg tie of their lives, they're going to be knackered, and that could play a big part in this. Newcastle is going to be the Callum Wilson derby. He's going to smell blood in the water. I know it's St. James's Park. Newcastle don't know what a win smells like, looks like, or is even about. They want the season to end. They're going to go to St. James's Park and put them to the sword. Another win. And then last but not least, we
already did it, remember?
Remember?
Yeah,
we decided that.
Okay.
Also, I love that a talk about the relegation battle still ended up being a conversation about Arsenal bottling the league.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way, it still ended up turning back to that.
Yeah.
Sorry, just had to get
Lahoud,
that in.
in this scenario, like West Ham are unbeaten in their last 3, so that would be them ending the season on a 7-match unbeaten run.
They've got momentum. They have the right manager at the helm in Nuno. But the one player that I think will be the difference, not just Wilson, is Thomas Souček. Thomas Souček comes up with massive goals, and he's going to do it again.
So
he scored against Everton. He's a great ambassador for the club, and we're all going to be blowing bubbles because West Ham are going to stay up.
So we're putting them on 46 points. They may as well make a European spot.
Come on, you. No, the one I'm surprised you guys didn't push back on me, and a complete hot take by me with the Arsenal one. Or is it?
Yeah, might call a hot take. I mean,
Is it?
But the vibes with Arsenal right now, I can't. It's difficult for me to push back on it. I said it already that I kind of believe that City can go and win the league. Again, it's turning into another type of conversation, but I can fight back on it and say, sure, Arsenal will get a win, but they're going to rotate. Obviously, going to rotate somewhat at the very least. I can see it. I just I don't know. I'm gonna stick with you. I'll stick with you. I'll believe you.
I would push back on the Brentford one.
I mean, it looks like that. I can't see a draw, but we'll have to wait and see. So it does look like in that final spot it will be Tottenham. What do they have to do these final 4 games? I think we've also given them a draw versus Leeds on May 11th. So they've got Villa, Chelsea, Everton. How many points are they picking up?
Yeah, that draw might be the lone good spot here for Spurs. This is tough. Sorry, Spurs fans, in advance before this, but Aston Villa, yes, they're in the middle of a European tie, coming off of a loss. I have a feeling that I just don't see where Spurs are going to get goals. I don't see how they can score on Villa at Villa Park. So I'm going to go a loss for Spurs at Aston Villa this weekend. We have that draw at home, give them a bit of life against Leeds. We already have that in there. And then they go to Chelsea. And again, Chelsea, if you look at the table, they are battling to try to get into a European spot. The new manager bump. They haven't been good. I still think Chelsea win. So loss for Spurs at Chelsea, and it all comes down to the last day against Everton. Everton's playing some good football. They're not in the battle. I mean, technically they are in the battle as well for a European spot. I'll say draw for that last one, only because it's at home. And I don't think that that's going to be enough to keep them up.
No, 36 points. I think that's 7 points behind 5.
With all of the injuries, Solanke now possibly injured as well. Again, so much turnover with this team. I just don't see how they can get results, even with this Serie, maybe trying to play, parking the bus and try to play ultra defensive is the only way they can find a way to get a result. But how are they going to score goals to win a game that way? Yeah, so that's my issue.
To stay up and stave off relegation at this point in the season, you need goals. And the one man who can change it is probably the most experienced player in the whole team with regard to relegation. It's Relegation Richarlison. If they get the version of him at Anfield, has a knack for coming up with big goals when clubs need it the most, this is his time to shine. This is his time to prove his worth. I just doubt it solely because Xavi Simons just looked like he was getting going.
Oh, yeah.
So their most influential player in the final third as of late, out for the season. We don't know when his timetable is. Most likely, he looks like he's going to miss the World Cup. Dominic Solanke, constantly injured. Is it going to be Colomwani? I don't know where the goals are going to come from either. And if you're Roberto De Zerbi, you're going to really have to earn that massive salary that you're on. Yeah.
So we've got Tottenham going down. They did get their first couple of points against Wolves last week of 2026.
Still did not look great doing it. It was not a good match at all. They kind of lucked their way into those 3 points.
Like you mentioned, Dominic Solanke was out and came out in that game, and so did Xavi Simons. So some big injuries. But don't worry, everyone, because Spurs have Peppa Pig. They collabed with Peppa Pig in their club shop. They'll be selling this merchandise coming towards the end of the season. And fans are in absolute disbelief. These are some of the reactions on social media. Peppa Pig out for the season with an ACL injury. Oh my God.
Guys, I showed this to my daughter, a big fan of Peppa Pig, showed her this and she was like, oh wow, this is so cool. And I said, no, honey, no, you're not a Spurs fan. You don't need that in your life.
Pulling up to Lincoln City's away end next season with the Spurs Peppa Pig fit.
Oh, man. And for context, for our viewers, that is former UNC basketball Hall of Fame to-be coach and former Kansas Jayhawk national championship winning coach Roy Williams. The gift that keeps on giving.
One of the better memes.
Or the club that keeps on giving.
People are laughing at the Peppa Pig Tottenham collab now. Just wait until they avoid a relegation, and it's called a lucky charm forever.
Honestly.
I mean, could they have just, like, you know, maybe done it next season or done it in the summer?
Yeah, somebody on the marketing team, somebody on the football side needs to squash that one.
If they stay up, Peppa's got to be on their kit next season, right? It's got to be a huge Peppa Pig right in the middle of their kit next season if they decide to stay up.
Oh,
everybody, we do have 4 match days left in the Premier League. Arsenal could go 6 points clear. They're facing Fulham on Saturday, a side that they've never lost to at the Emirates. Also, Manchester United will be taking on Liverpool. And since Michael Carrick's Pep's first Premier League game in charge. Man U have won more points than any other side in the Premier League, and also Man City will be travelling to the Hill Dickinson to take on Everton on Monday. A lot coming up this week.